We are live. Welcome everybody to week 2 recap, week 3 preview. This is Beaver and Benjo Ball Talk. We are coming at you live Wednesday, September 18th. Appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. We're getting right into it. All
Sir,
right. Benjo, your Packers win with a backup quarterback.
back to business, baby. I love it. I'm super excited for them. Malik Willis. I've never been more excited for a backup starting Packers game ever. I know that's not saying a lot, but next week he's got his revenge against the Titans, which we'll talk about later. But I'm very excited with how this Packer team's playing. Predominantly the defense. I think it's top five in the NFL. Might be a little biased, but it's pretty freaking solid.
Yeah, for sure. Before we go deeper into what happened in week 2, what the week that 2 hits and misses, we're going to go through our records on the week. Benjo goes 8-8, while Beaver goes 7-9. The books are sharp, folks. The books are sharp. It's tough to pick winners this early in the season. It's about 500 on the season for me, and Benjo's climbing back towards that number. He's still 4 games back after a 6-10 week one. So
Bad
uh
week. Very Raider-esque. Got my Raider Cup right here. Both of our records this year, very Raider-esque.
yeah, it was a tough one, man. I think all of the big time favorites did not cover the spread, with a lot of them losing, specifically Cowboys, Lions lose, Niners lose,
Baltimore to the
Baltimore
Raiders.
loses. So yeah, all over, just
Oh, and
completely
two, Baltimore.
completely difficult to kind of navigate this slate. But yeah, week 2, man. Week 2. Let's talk about, that most recent game, that Monday night. Monday night game was awesome. Great game. Last minute comeback. I don't know. The Eagles had a good week 1, but I don't know. This Eagles team's a little sketchy. What do you think about the Eagles?
I couldn't agree with you more, brother. I going into the week, I thought that Kirk was gonna have a bounce back game. I didn't think it was gonna be like this, where he has all this time in the world at the end of the game. I mean, you'd think he was like rookie mode watching that game. I mean, that last drive, he had all the time in the world, hitting his guys. I mean, that just does not look like an Eagles team that can go a distance. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, Saquon just had a lot of mental errors to start the season, and that can be corrected pretty quickly. But it's very suspect. That whole division is very suspect right now. The NFC East.
Yeah, man. Sirianni, it seems like the story with that guy is just kind of like a paralysis by overanalysis situation. That guy is always way too in his head, and it
And
results in some bonehead decisions out of him. I mean, that game was super winnable. But I love to see the Vikings go down there. Drake London just absolutely cooks Slay and
shout out USC.
scores a sweet touchdown. All right, so that's the most recent one. Let's jump back to the start of the week. For those listening or
Wow.
for those watching on YouTube, you can see in the background of my video, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa has decided to leave the NFL and join the Crip Gang. He is full on streets of LA throwing up the gang signs. This is the second time he's done this. He came back first time he did it, but this time we're not sure if he's coming back. He might be street life for life. So Bills get a huge win. Uh, the boy James Cook finally was able to cook. They let him cook. He scores 3 touchdowns in the first half. Buffalo walks away with a 31-10 win. What do you think about what do you think about Miami going forward? Buffalo moves 2-0. That's huge for them. What's the future for Miami?
Well, obviously we know now that Tua said he's for sure not retiring. I mean, that was the really loud thing coming out. The weird thing is like they're really good and really talented. Like there's no doubt about that on both sides of the ball, coaching. It's just always been quarterback. And I think, and I've seen this a lot on social media recently, and I like it. Probably won't happen, but I would love to see the Dolphins try to swipe up Bryce Young and just see how that works. I mean, if this guy's really about it, he's got a really good team. he can go out and ball out. I
Yeah.
don't know if the Dolphins are looking to do that. I think long term, I'd rather even take the risk on that than take another risk on Tua. Like he might not retire, but this is not going to be a long career, unfortunately for him. And I hate to say it, but it's just he's made too many boneheaded decisions, and it's just going to cost him his actual head.
I don't know if there's any chance that Carolina is ready to part ways with Bryce Young. I think this is more of, let's take some pressure off him. Let's let him, kind of, which they should have done off rip. Bryce Young, I know they spent the number one overall pick on him, and they decided that was throw him into the fire immediately. But we've seen that's not how it works. Your Packers have perfected the let the guy sit under the guy.
Develop, 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 develop.
Unfortunately, the Panthers didn't have anyone. But if you look at New England,
They had Andy Dalton. Yeah, they had someone. They had a starter caliber guy. That's the perfect bridge quarterback. You can't
yeah,
act like
I
Andy
mean
Dalton can't go play some game.
it's not Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. By
Yeah,
that I mean it's not as good as a situation as it could have been.
yeah.
Andy Dalton is not like this god tier quarterback. Like I
And
understand
no
they had
coach.
Andy Dalton, but the Patriots are doing the same thing with Drake May. I mean, Brissett's not like this god tier quarterback, but they're letting May sit. It's just way too much pressure to throw on a guy. So I like where your head is on the Dolphins trying to get him, but I just don't think that Carolina is ready to part ways with them if they're smart about this situation.
That's why I said I saw it on social media because there's no legitimate seat of social media. So yeah, there's no way that's gonna ever happen. I completely agree with you. I don't. I think it'd be super stupid if they traded him. Uh, at least right now, you gotta build some pieces in this draft and I guess tank again, and then just try to do off of the cuff. I don't know. I mean, they're always going to be compared because it was 1 and 2, but you couldn't act like those are two completely different teams in the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. I
Yeah.
mean, talk about day and night where those two could have ended up. I mean, they would have gone 1 and 2 either way. So they literally are seeing what the worst bizarro version of themselves could have
Yeah.
been.
Bryce Young, 2-16 as a starter in the NFL. Carolina hasn't had a winning season since 2017. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. But my take on the Dolphins is their season is over. It's already done. I would just mail it in if I were them. There's no chance they have any shot of finishing higher than 6 to 7 wins. I think their season's over.
I mean, I did see like realistic option was I think they either brought him or talked about bringing in Tyler Huntley, which is like weird. That guy was a Pro Bowler last year. So, like the Pro Bowl's a joke, obviously, but I mean that could change a lot of things. He won a couple games for the Ravens down the stretch last year. But yeah, I mean I'd have to probably agree with you. I think it's probably over for them.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to go through every game in depth, but a few of them I did want to highlight is let's head over to that Saints Cowboys game. I was in attendance with the one, the only Kyle Hayner, and he looked over at me midway through that second quarter when the Saints had 35 points and said, Derek Carr is winning the MVP and the Saints are winning the Super Bowl. So, so
Bold thing.
that is how most Saints fans are feeling, I believe. The atmosphere was raucous in Jerry's world. The Saints fans showed up big. Uh, that Saints team is pretty unstoppable. I mean, they're looking like an absolute wagon. Cowboys, I don't know. I don't know about the Cowboys, but that Saints team, 4 touchdowns, Kamara, Carr looked insane. What do you think about that one?
I'm not gonna want to be like the dude who hates on a good team, and the Saints are pretty good, but you can't act like they beat anyone that's really like worthwhile. I mean, I'm waiting for them to beat a team like the Detroit Lions, like the Niners, the Chiefs, someone who's like, whoa, okay, that's really stepping up. I'm pretty sure I looked at their schedule to see who they got coming up.
They have some demons coming up.
Yeah, Eagles, Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers. I mean, if they go two wins or more in those 4 games, I consider them serious contenders. But I think these are pretty cakewalk teams. I mean, Dallas can sometimes look like the worst team in the NFL. And I don't
No
know if that's
doubt.
coaching or what the heck that is, but they'll have the tendency to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
this is like the same score the Niners had with them the last time they played. I
I
mean,
mean,
there's just times the wheels fall off.
looking forward to that to the rest of the Saints, like, next 3 or 4 weeks. This Cowboys win for them was huge because if they drop this one in Dallas, which they very well could have, it's starting to look like maybe they're 2-4 by week 6. But now, after that Cowboys win, things are looking a lot better that they can afford to lose at Arrowhead on Monday night in the coming weeks. So yeah, you mentioned the Lions that you wanted to see it be a good team like the Lions. The Bucks go into Ford Field and get a dub over the Lions.
Yeah. I Hey, it's early in the season. I mean, one of those two teams out to win. I forgot to mention the Bucks. I could speak very highly of them too. I mean, hell, not that it was 3, 4 years ago they were in the Super Bowl, and a lot of those pieces are still there and have only gotten better because they were pretty young. And Baker is found his home, and I love that. And he's my favorite quarterback that's not on the Packers. So I really love that guy. I hope you wish him nothing but success. Um, and the Browns are just fucking idiots for that. Straight up, they
Yeah.
deserve the of the week. They screwed the pooch so hard on that whole situation. I won't get too into it, but that is the stupidest decision they've ever made, and I think that just cursed their franchise again.
Bucks looked really good. Their defense is solid. They held the Lions to 16 points only. Neither team scored in the fourth quarter. That was a good old fashioned, kind of ground and pound, good football game. Like to see it. Your Packers beat the Colts. Jets take care of the Titans, move to 1-1, bounce back game for Rodgers. Shanahan gets out schemed by the Vikings. Niners drop one on the road, their first loss of the season. Seahawks win in New England in overtime. They move to 2-0. Giants lose 18-21. Rookie quarterback Jane Daniels gets his first win in the league. The Chargers stomp on Carolina 26-3, resulting in the benching of Bryce Young. Moving forward, Browns 18, Jaguars 13. Good bounce back win for the Browns. Trevor Lawrence moves to 0-2. Might be time to raise some concerns for Jacksonville. They have a tough one. I think they're at Buffalo, the Sunday night football game this coming week, so that'll be interesting. The Raiders beat Baltimore.
At
With
Baltimore.
at Baltimore, Gardner Minshew.
He also is up there with Baker, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. That's not a Packer, dude. That guy's the man, dude. Um, I just wanted to sorry to bring it back to that pooper of a game, Carolina Chargers versus Carolina Chargers. Justin Herbert led the passing in that game with 130 yards. That's just straight up abysmal. I mean, all respect to the Chargers, Harbaugh is just ground and pound in that. And I love that. He's bringing that. He's going to control the line of scrimmage like he did, uh, like he's always done. Honestly, not just at Michigan, but for the Niners. This week was just, I think a lot of teams figured out their weaknesses this week. Like the more I think about the San Francisco Minnesota game, that's really not that surprising. I mean, it wasn't that crazy. I mean, the final score makes it look a little closer than it was, but I, that's just such a Niners loss. I feel like early in the season they dropped to far inferior team and just do stupid stuff. Like we lost to Walker last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like you said, like that Carolina game, Justin Herbert's the leading passer with 130 yards. Bryce Young has 84 yards. Like Brock, he had a fumble and he had a pick, but he had 320 passing yards. Brock looked good. He looked decent. I think that Shanahan scheme just got completely outmatched by the Vikings. The Vikings D coordinator just kind of had Kyle's number in that
It's
game. I can't
Brian
lie.
Flores. That
Yeah,
guy's
Beeflo.
a head coach. And also, like his Brock Purdy has the hardest job of any person in the whole NFL. Because if he wins and has a great game, it's all because of the supporting cast. And if he loses, it's all because of him. It makes no sense. I mean, I'm not even the biggest Brock guy. I think he's got his faults for sure, but like it's just ridiculous that poor guy.
Yeah,
Being a seventh round pick, dude, to even be this good is just amazing.
yeah. Well, hey, don't look now. Arizona, Kyler with a real head coach, not fucking Kingsbury, and a solid running back, a top 5 wide receiver draft pick. Kyler is a top 5 quarterback in the league when he wants to be. I mean, he's
That's very true when he wants to be. That's the
he's
weird
ex-
part.
he's extremely talented. He's an extremely talented kid. They dropped 41
I know it.
on the Rams without Aaron Donald. McVay into early retirement. He might be calling games with Brady later this year. But yeah, that game was 24-3 at halftime. Almost can turn it off at that point. Marvin Harrison, 4 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Steelers moved to 2-0 with Justin Fields. I know you wanted to talk about this. What's going on with Russell Wilson?
Dude, that's just got to be like the craziest thing that's ever happened. I mean, if we were to think about the Steelers being 2-0 with Justin Fields as a starting quarterback and Russell Wilson as the backup like 2 years ago, you would have thought the person was insane. But I mean, I just I think they'd be pretty similar if he was in. I think it's just one guy's got the locker room, the other guy's not. I think what the stories that came out about Russ Denver were pretty damning. It made him kind of seem arrogant, which was kind of surprising because he always paints to be a nice guy. But that could also be very fake. A lot of nice guys put up a fake persona.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I know Russ is dealing with some injuries. The Steelers are 2-0. Uh, week 1 win over the Falcons. I'm not gonna like. I think that Falcons team made leaps and bounds from week 1. It was Kirk's first time in that offense. So that was kind of,
Timing is a big deal with receivers,
yeah.
dude.
And then they go in and they beat the Broncos 13-6. But Bo Nix, so they're
Dude, he
2 and
has
0.
246 yards. Bo Nix, it only got 6 points.
Yeah.
That's a little strange to me. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
the Steelers are 2-0, but I don't think that that's a very strong 2-0. But at the end of the day, they're still 2-0. Those are 2 huge wins. That moves us to the 325 game, the last game of the early slate. Bengals Chiefs 25-26. Bengals move to 0-2. Pacheco fractures his fibula.
Yeah, that made me want to kill myself. But I have like four of my best players in fantasy all injured. But moving on. Uh, that game was weird. I'm looking Mike Gesicki, 91 yards, leading receiver. I mean, it was. I didn't watch much of that game. I was more watching the other ones. Cincy, I don't know. That might have been a one year thing. I mean, he got it done. Like that's kind of Joe Burrow's whole career is getting it done and making it to that Super Bowl. But he hasn't really got nothing to show for it since. And he's got pieces around him. I don't know. I mean, it is early in the season, but I'm interested to see how that whole division shakes out because they got Steelers 2-0, Cincy and Baltimore both 0-2.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still really anyone's division. I don't think anyone's too worried about that. The Bengals dropped like a terrible one week 1 at home to the Patriots. Like that game
Thinking.
was just terrible. That was like a stinky game. But them losing to the Chiefs in Arrowhead by 1 point, it's kind of like the Baltimore losing in Arrowhead. Like I think both teams walk out of there feeling pretty good about it, feeling like they could have won it. But at the end of the day, they're both 0-2, which is not where you want to be after 2 weeks. I know Bill Belichick, I was listening to him on a podcast, and he was saying that week 2 win is almost more important than that week 1 win. So yeah, that's tough for them. The Texans beat the Bears on Sunday Night Football. Caleb Williams is the leading rusher in that game with 5 carries for 44 yards. Just a weird game overall. Uh, yeah, I mean, not much to say about that one. It's just kind of a weird game overall.
Yeah, I think we're probably ready to move on to next week, right?
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're starting with
Oh, just really quick, sorry, flop and surprise.
are,
Uh,
are we doing that at the end or right now?
okay, we can do that at the end. Yeah, never mind.
Okay. Yeah, Thursday night football game. Jets, Patriots. Who do you have in this one, Ben?
I got the Jets sneaking it out, 21-17. I think Rodgers will get some strides. I think they'll collect a couple wins this year. I mean, I think nothing past like 10. I'm thinking probably 8 or 9, but they'll definitely get a win here against New England. New England just Jacoby Brissett's just barely managing games. and I think the Jets at home have a lot more momentum coming off a win. I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, I'm also on the Jets in this one. I like them to bounce back, get a win here. They got a mini bye week after this, so I like them to have a good week 4 too because they're gonna have some time to rest. But yeah, home game against a divisional opponent should be a big win for them. So I like the Jets as well. Uh, that moves us to Sunday. Giants Browns. Who you got in this one?
I got 20-6 Browns. I think they're gonna win this one. I don't like anything besides Malik Neighbors on that Giants team. I think they're gonna maybe get a couple field goals. They might maybe get a touchdown, but this is just bad news in New York.
Yeah, Browns. I'm on Browns all day. I think Browns take care of business here. It's a home game. They moved to 2-1 after this. Things are looking up. I like the Browns to win this one easy. The next one is Green Bay versus Tennessee. The game is in Nashville, Tennessee. What do you like? What are you thinking here?
I betrayed my pack last week and took against them. I'm not going to do that this week. I'm going to go 21-14 Packers. I think Malik Willis has a lot more confidence and has like a huge chip on his shoulder coming into Tennessee. I think this is like his like if he were to think of any game to play this year, this was the only game he'd want to play. I liked what I saw out of him. I think they're going to give him the opportunity to win this game. The defense is good. I would love. I honestly think that we might go 3 for 3 with Xavier McKinney picks. I think he's going to get his third one this week against Will Levis. He's just. I mean, I don't even think they should start him, but then again, I don't even know who their backup is.
Malik
So
Willis, right?
Nick Wilson on the pack. Come on, kid. He was messing with that. Pull out the
Yeah. I am hopping off of the Malik Willis hype train. I think it was a one and done
oh,
deal, and they're gonna fall to the Titans, and Jordan Love is gonna heal himself and he'll be back for week 4. But I like the Titans win this one at home. They're 0-2. I like them being able to handle the Packers here. Uh they're gonna Levis is gonna have a tough week at practice. They're gonna really, grind him down and be like, dude, come on, we got to figure this out. You can't be you know, you can't be doing that. I don't even know how to explain his play style, but he's got to change it. So I like the Titans to win this one at home. Packers are a solid team, good defense, but I think the Titans are gonna squeak this one out at home. Bears Colts at Lucas Oil. What are you thinking here?
I had 28-17 Colts. I'm expecting a bounce back week from them. I mean, both teams need a bounce back week, but I think Indy needs it more. They're 0-2. It's going to be loud, loud if they lose this game at home to the Bears, especially to rookie Caleb Williams, who I don't like what I've seen out of him. He seems, I don't know. But I think Indy's going to take care of business at home.
Yeah, I agree. Indy gets a win. They moved to 1-2. I'm on Indy as well. Richardson has been going through a couple this is technically his rookie year. Some rookie struggles. He's got 4 picks through 2 games. I think they'll try to get Jonathan Taylor on the ground to make some moves, and I like the Colts to win that one. Texans Vikings battle of the 2-0s. The Texans are 2-0, Vikings are 2-0. Vikings coming off a big win. Texans squeak one out against the Bears. Stroud's got 500 passing yards and 3 touchdowns through 2 games. Mixon, I'm not sure if he's injured or not. I don't know how he's looking, but shout out our Vikings fans, Mr. TRS himself, Lee Weichel, big Vikings guy. I like the Vikings to win this one. Who are you on?
I got uh, Houston winning this one 24-21. I kind of was flip flopping in my mind. I like that score, but I didn't know which side it was going to fall to. I'm going to go with Stroud. I think he's going to get it done this week. I like what I see out of him. He didn't play that good last week. I think he's motivated out of it. Uh, Big fan of CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Texans could easily win this one. I just like the Vikings to keep the momentum rolling after a big win against the Niners, and I like them to win this one, move to 3-0. I don't know how good they're going to be after that, but I think they do win this one. Saints Eagles in the Superdome. This is a big one. What do you think on this one?
I got a barn burner, but I got 31-28 Philly. I don't know if I necessarily like that, but I think Philly's going to win this week. Uh, or actually, no, I'm going to flip that. I'm going to go 31-28 New Orleans. Philly's way too suspect for me. I don't like what I'm seeing out of them. And inside New Orleans, I think it gets really loud in there, like a college game. So if they get an early pick or something on Hurts, it could spiral pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I like Philly in this one. I think the Saints offense is this will be the week that they slow down a little bit. I mean, their pace is incredible. They're not going to keep up with that obviously, but I like Philly to win this one in the Superdome. I'm banking on AJ Brown being back. I'm pretty sure he is. So, I like them to win that one. Chargers, Steelers, 2-0 versus 2-0. It's in Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm guessing they're riding with Fields still, right? He's gonna be quarterback for this one.
Yep.
Okay. Uh, who do you got in this one?
Uh, I I got 27-17 Chargers. I might be
Nice.
giving a little too many points to Pittsburgh, but I don't think Pittsburgh's winning this one, even though it's at Pittsburgh. The defense is stout, but so is Chargers defense, and I like the momentum they got. It's going to be, I think they're both be a battle 2-0, also a weird battle 2-0, but still one nonetheless. I'm excited for that game. I think it's going to go pretty good until the fourth quarter where they'll explode out and Chargers going to win.
Yeah, I'm on LA in this one as well. Harbaugh Harbaugh's brother has played this Steelers team 2 years or two times a year for
Good point. Very good.
forever. So I'm sure he'll give Jim some pointers. But yeah, I like the Chargers to go in there, get a dub. I mean, if the Steelers start 3-0, I mean, look out. That's crazy. So I like the Chargers to get the win there. Should be a close one. I think it's close. It's gonna be close to 10 points in my mind, but I like the Chargers to win that one. Broncos Bucks in Tampa.
I got 28-10 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are going to take care of business. I was worried for a second. I don't know if I dreamt it or something. I thought Baker got hurt, but I checked the injury report. He's good to go. I think they're going to take care of business. I like a good win here in Tampa Bay. I think they'll be feeling hot 3-0 for them. And I just feel bad for Bo Nix. He's had some tough starts. I don't think he's horrible or anything, but it's going to be pretty loud for him. Also, stupid idea by Sean Payton to start him week one. Like he might have even been the best of the three. I just feel like letting him come in around like week four would have been the best thing for him.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think you can start Zach Wilson. There's no way you could do that. And the Stidham's the other guy, like
And
it,
Sim seems like an arrogant douchebag. Do you see him?
it yeah. I mean, I understand Stidham probably thought that it was his job, so I understand why he had that response. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think you can put him in over Will. I mean, I don't think you can put Wilson in as a starter. So it was Stidham or Nick's job, and I guess they give it to Nick's. I like the Bucks to win that one too. I mean, just keep it simple. Solid team all around versus a rookie quarterback. Bucks win that one. Panthers Raiders. The Red Rockets in Andy Dalton. Bryce Young, they sent him back to middle school. He's gonna figure it out. And we got Andy Dalton manning the ship against Gardner Minshew. Wow, a lot of moxie in that quarterback matchup. Minshew's got 533 passing yards through 2 games. I think that might be most in the NFL. Just kidding. Purdy's got 550. Uh, but what do you think on that one? You think you think the Raiders take care of business over the back over Dalton, or you think Dalton gets
Yeah,
Carolina back on track?
I think the Vikings, or not Vikings. I don't know why I said Vikings. I think Vegas will take down Carolina 20-10. I like what I see in Adam Minshew. I think he'll get the business done. Uh, Carolina is just, I don't know. I mean, Andy Dalton's old, and it's not like they got someone who's going to change the whole game for him.
Yeah, Adam
Uh,
Thielen's the number one. I mean, they got nothing, dude. Raiders win that one easy, I think.
yeah.
DK Metcalf and Geno Smith are home against the Dolphins. Uh, Skylar Thompson, are they going with him still?
He's
Or
like signed somewhere or something.
yeah, so most likely probably going to be him at a tough Lumen Field environment in Seattle. Seahawks moved to 3-0 after this game in my mind. What do you think?
I would agree with that. 17-7 Seattle is what I got.
Ooh, low scoring battle. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be anything crazy. Uh, and check the weather up there. I'd be surprised if it's raining, so that'd even be better for Seattle. So yeah,
Yeah, okay. This is my game of the week right here.
sitting here.
Ravens Cowboys. My game of the week. Cowboys are home again after being home last week. If the Ravens lose this, it might be time to sound the alarms. Season might be over if the Ravens lose this. 0-3. Sheesh. Uh Ravens Cowboys. Who you got in this one?
I got it saying 28-27, and then just all like AL or Al because I don't know which one I was gonna
You
put.
don't know to put that B or that D, that big B or
Yeah,
that B?
I don't know about the D or the B, so I'm gonna go B.
I
I
put the
don't.
I put the B as well, Benjo. I put the B for Benjo.
Yeah, I put the B for Beaver because I think they're gonna definitely get the win here. I mean, it. I would MVP starting off 0-3 would be insanity.
Yeah. I mean, Harbaugh's got to throw on that tape and be like, okay, this team is beatable in every aspect. I mean, the intermediate game,
Yeah.
the deep game, like I just think like that Cowboy, like if I'm Baltimore and I win the toss, give me the ball immediately. Let's get a touchdown. Let's do what the Saints did in this one. So I like Baltimore winning that one as well. Moves to the Niners, Rams in Levi South down there. They're playing in Inglewood, your area, your domain. I got Niners bounce back. They're winning this one. I mean, Rams looked so bad last week.
Well, it's just unfair. I mean, they don't got any. I mean,
Yeah.
it's old ass Matthew Stafford who's been banged up these last couple years. No Puka, no Cup, so he's throwing to no one.
The defense isn't good.
No, I got 35-10 San Francisco. I think it's going to be like, hey, you guys think we suck? Yeah, this is what we're about.
Yeah.
I think the Niners are going to not hold back with the scoring. The only thing that concerns me is that no Debo and no McCaffrey. So I think that 35 points might be a little high. Think about it now because they don't have two really big players.
Yeah. I don't think they can throttle them that big. I don't think the Niners have 35 in them this week. And I also don't think Kyle's in the mindset of playing any games. I think he's gonna get a lead and just ground and pound and just like I think he's like shit. We're not as good as we thought we were. Let's get back to the basics. But I like the Niners to win that one. Lions Cardinals, that sneakily turning into going to be a really good matchup. The Cardinals looked
Yeah.
insane last week. Lions drop one. Uh,
And it's
la-
at Arizona.
yeah, Lions drop one at home last week. Lions win in overtime week 1 against the Rams. Cardinals beat the Rams by 31 last week. So yeah, I mean the Cardinals have a little bit of, we beat them by 31, you beat them by 7. We're better than you guys by that math. But that being said, I have AZ in this one. I have the Cardinals winning at home. Who do you got?
I was about to flip it, but since you take AZ, we got a lot of similar picks this week. So I'm going to flip it and I'm going to go Detroit.
You staying with
I think
Detroit? Okay.
I'm going to go 20. Oh, yeah, not flip it. I'm going to stay with Detroit. I got 27-21 Detroit. That's what I originally had it. I think they'll get a win here. I think Dan Campbell doesn't like losing 2 games in a row. I don't know if he's done that. It might be his status made up, but I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to come in here and be like, hey, we're going to take people's names. And
Yeah.
in Hutchinson, dude, had like 3 or 4 sacks or something crazy last week, dude.
Yeah, he's got 5.5 total.
Dude, beast. Guy's a dog, dude. So I think he's going to come in and
Yeah.
handle business.
Hey, Kyler's not easy to sack. Kyler's a hard guy to sack. So I mean, I know
Very
Hutch,
true.
he's a dog, but Kyler's a hard guy to sack. Uh, this Chiefs Falcons game, the Sunday night football game turns into a good one, man. We have the Chiefs 2-0.
It's good because
This
at Atlanta too.
yeah, they're home and they were home in both those. They sneak out two sneak out wins. I mean, Baltimore was a couple inches away from tying it, and pass interference gave the Chiefs the win last week. So Falcons coming off a big Monday Night Football win. A little bit of a shorter week than everybody else, but they're at home. It's their second home game of the season after losing week 1 at home. Who you got in this one?
Um, I got KC. I think KC is quickly evolving into the New England era, as the Swifties call this, whatever. I think they're entering that. I mean, those two wins were so Patriot-esque, sneaking them out at home, getting them wins you need to win. I am not ruling out an Atlanta win. I think it's very possible, but I can see Kansas City coming in and Travis Kelce and Mahomes connecting a lot because everyone's throwing Kelce under the bus because he had like one catch or something. But hey, someone's bound to have a bad week.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Chiefs take care of business here. I think it's not as close as people think. I think maybe like a 7 to 10 point win by the Chiefs here. I think they take care of business. But like you said, if I come out here next week and the Falcons beat the Chiefs, I'm not going to be like, that's surprising. I think the Falcons could easily win this one, but I like the Chiefs to win this one. This is back to the same bullshit from last year. They got two Monday Night Football games. There's two of them. The first one, the 6:30 p.m. one, uh, is Buffalo versus Jacksonville. What do you like in this one?
I think it's gonna be some trouble down in Jacksonville. I like what I'm seeing out of Buffalo a lot. Josh Allen's gonna come in here and get 28-23 win at home. I think it's gonna be close because obviously Trevor's gonna fight for a win, but dude, it's gonna be loud in Jacksonville with an 0-3 start after they named their stadium after the guy. So I think Buffalo's gonna handle that at home. Shout out Tara.
Who did they name their stadium after?
You don't know about that? Jacksonville
Jaguar?
named, yeah, it's like
The Trevor Lawrence Stadium?
it's called Trevor Arena. Jax.
I think you may have got Barry McCockner on that one.
No, dude, it's on his Instagram. Let me go pull it up. I will put it on anything, beef. Um, Trevor Lawrence. Where was his girlfriend's Instagram? Dude, I for sure know I am not hallucinating with this one.
Yeah, I guess it's called Everbank Stadium, but to highlight the launch day, they're calling it Trevor Bank Stadium for Trevor Lawrence. So
Yeah, boom. I don't
uh
know, right?
I mean it's called Everbank Stadium. It's not called Trevor Bank Stadium. The company's Everbank. It's called Everbank Stadium, but I think it's kind of like launched the naming rights. They are doing like a little campaign. But yeah, that's interesting news. I feel like every time I'm watching Josh Allen on prime time, he's running someone over and then he's throwing into triple coverage and throwing a pick. So I don't know about this one. I initially I initially had Buffalo, but Josh Allen on prime time, dude, the cameras get on and he starts turning into Cam Newton. Like yeah, I don't know.
3 years after the MVP. So,
Yeah, I have Buffalo as well, but I will like use like a reverse spell on this one. If Jacksonville wins, we can review the table. I'll have Jacksonville in this one, but I do have Buffalo for the record, but also Jacksonville. We got
what? What does that mean, dude? No, we got one of the yeah.
I just don't trust primetime Josh Allen. The guy.
Okay, yeah, I don't trust freaking prime time Lamar the game of the week for Benjo and Beaver ball talk. He watches. I talked to Lamar and he's got pressure on him now.
It's not prime time. I mean, I know it's Cowboys, but I don't know if the Cowboys have any fans anymore after what happened last week. Uh, Commanders Bengals. Looks like Joe Burrow is gonna escape being 0-3 because his Commanders team just rookie quarterback. I don't think they're good enough to go in there and beat
Dude, they
Uh,
only had field goals last week. There was 18-21, only field goals in that freaking Washington Giants game.
that's pretty badass, dude. He gets them in the field goal range, no doubt about that. He can move the ball. Uh,
That's
Bengals win
very
this one.
true.
I think Bengals win this one.
But yeah, that's 7 scoring drives, but they're all field goals, dude.
I
Wow.
mean, dude, I'll
Hey,
take it.
yeah, they got the win.
More points than the Niners scored last week.
That's ridiculous.
So you got the Bengals in this one as well.
Yeah, I got the Bengals 24-17. I think since he's gonna win it, they're gonna escape being 0-2 or 0-3.
All right. That is the picks in the recap. Let's jump back to week two. What's it called? Flop and surprise is what it is.
Yep. Flop and surprise.
Okay, you start us
Um,
off.
we'll start with the floppers. I had 3 main candidates this week. The Colts loss, Baltimore's slow start, and Dallas's loss at home. I'm a notorious Dallas hater, so I'm gonna go Dallas loss at home.
Is your flop?
Yeah, because at
Okay.
least Baltimore was a little closer. But Dallas, dude, just getting blown out like that at home is just classic Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just such a flop. The Niners one, as I look at it, that's just such a Niners loss. A lot of people might think they were the flop, but I think it's either Dallas or Baltimore. And funny enough, they're playing each other this week. So I think both those teams have a lot of stuff on the writing board and need to fix a lot of things.
Yeah. My flop might be it's a toss up. Obviously that Baltimore loss at home to the Raiders is flop worthy, but I think that Saquon drop on the flat is my flop of the week. Eagles easily could have moved to 2-0. So that Saquon drop is my flop of the week. Where's your surprise coming from?
um, Obviously, I have to bias with the Green Bay win.
Yeah.
I think that was. I mean, it surprised me. I was a
Well,
fan. I didn't.
I,
I didn't think there's any chance.
I think a lot of people were surprised by that one.
Sneaky little 14-10 win. Loved every second of it. Remind me of 2000 or freaking 1927 football. A lot of ground and pound by the pack. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
pack it up early, 10-0, and just kind of carry that lead throughout the game. That was one of the candidates for my surprise of the week, but my surprise of the week comes in the form of the Arizona Cardinals. Uh I knew they were decent, and I knew the Rams weren't as good, but for them to put up 41, Marv have 2 touchdowns. Their run game is insane with Kyler and Connor. They're both really good. But Arizona winning by 31 was my surprise of the week. That's over 4 scores they won by. So yeah, that one's my surprise of the week.
I will give an honorable mention to the Raiders for surprise of the week. I mean, them getting a win after that loss. Were they at home that first week? The Raiders. Let me check. Because that was a huge win if they were at home that first week.
I think
Oh
they
no,
were.
they're at Chargers.
They were at the Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big win for them, and obviously, to counteract the Baltimore slow start, I'd put up Saints strong start is also a pretty big surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shit, dude. Pretty crazy start to the NFL season, but that's why we're doing this podcast because every week is crazy, it's never ending. So, uh, just kind of looking around the league, Brock Purdy's leading the NFL in passing yards with 550. Uh, J.K. Dobbins is leading the league in rushing. Hutchinson's leading the league in sacks. Nico Collins is leading the league in receptions. Xavier McKinney and Jamarcus Ingram leading the league in picks, 2 each. Yeah, man, it's interesting so far.
Anyone's league, man. Besides the
Baltimore,
Panthers.
Baltimore, leading the league in uh points per game or in yards per game, and they're 0-2. Surprising to see that. Tennessee is leading the league in least amount of yards per game, so that's something to keep an eye on. Minnesota has 11 sacks through 2 games. They were all over Brock last week. Yeah, man, the Packers leading the league in rushing yards.
Yep.
Pittsburgh's got a +5 turnover differential. Justin Fields hasn't turned the ball over yet this year.
Um, what would be your overreaction? What was the biggest overreaction you saw this week?
I mean,
I
we've
mean,
gone over a lot of it. I just think like overreacting week 2 is a little early just because of like, how much things can change. But hey, my overreaction is the Chargers are winning the AFC West. That's my overreaction.
yeah, I mean anything Colin Cowherd says. I saw him guy like third best team is the Chargers, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they're winning the West."
Yeah, they are.
I
I
think
did.
that
I think they're winning the West, man. The Chiefs are gonna stumble. They've squeaked out 2 wins. Chargers got a +35 point differential. They've only allowed 13 points through 2 weeks. I mean, I get they played Carolina, but Chargers are winning the West. That's my overreaction. What's your overreaction?
my overreaction would probably be Saints in the NFC Championship. I know a lot
Yeah,
of people think that like I don't see like they say a lot of people think they have a hard start, but I don't think anyone thinks they're real contenders. I think they have a lot of solid pieces and a lot of solid vets that yeah, my hot take would be yeah, they might be in the NFC Championship this year. Very like Rams last year.
yeah. I mean, another hot take could be, or another overreaction could be the Niners are not going to win the NFC West. That someone else is going. The Niners might be a wild card team.
Cardinals could easily go in and win this division.
Seattle's 2-0. Cardinals are 1-1. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to overreact with on this league.
Um, what about I'm looking at some of these 2-0 teams. Like, where do you think a team like the Steelers or Seattle is going to finish the year? I mean, they're 2-0 to start the year. I could see both those teams going winless to end the year.
Yeah, I mean, I know, for sure Pittsburgh. I remember seeing it when the schedules came out. The end of their year, like from week 10 and on, is just hell. So, I think it's huge they're getting these wins early. In terms of Seattle, man, Gino's solid. He plays good ball. Their new coach is settling in. Kenneth Walker's solid back. I think Seattle stays steady. A steady diet of ceiling of 10-7, bottom of 7-10. How it usually is for them. So
What about see? Obviously, you're high on the Chargers. Minnesota. What about Minnesota? What's going to happen in that NFC North?
I mean, there's nothing that points me away from them playing good ball, dude. They're a really good football team. So as long as Justin Jefferson stays healthy, I'm pretty sure he is hurt again, though, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think he jacked up
He
his
always
quad.
sneaks back in. I don't know. Did we already say what our last week's game of the week was?
Yeah, we had a couple. We had a couple last week. Game of the week. I know that. For me, my sneaky game of the week was that Bucks Lions one, and it ended up being a good one. It was a good game.
Yeah. Um, I think probably for me, Cincy, Kansas City, just because it always sparks a lot of controversy. It was a good matchup. Um, personally, I love the Packers game, but no one's really outside of Green Bay is going to like that game a whole lot. Pretty boring.
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess I want to hear your opinion on this. Does Bryce Young play another snap this year?
barring some trade where they get some guy I think would pair nicely with them, no. I,
You don't think they'll put him back in after a couple weeks?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Uh, there's a big chance this might be his last snap as a Panther. He might just be
That's
like, look, like, because this a good point I didn't even think about is the regime they got in right now for Carolina didn't draft this guy,
yeah.
and he might just be like, look, I don't want to play with you, play for you guys anymore. This clearly didn't work for me, and they could still get something out of him because like I saw the narrative online. Not a lot of people think he's like horrible. I mean, sure, there's people that think he's horrible, but a lot of consensus online is it's on Carolina.
Yeah, 2-16 as a starter. But Carolina hasn't had a winning season since 2017. So it's like, yeah, clearly it's like, oh yeah, okay, you need some weapons. Here's Adam Thielen. Okay. A 33-year-old Adam Thielen is gonna be my number one. Yeah, I mean they didn't do much.
Don't worry, next year we're gonna get you Deontay Johnson, who likes to drop the football. And he's even
Yeah,
better.
yeah. So
And
that's a
Miles
that's a
Sanders.
tough one. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at this Vikings team. If they can win against Houston, which I think that was my prediction, was they did beat Houston. Look out for Minnesota, man. Their defense is solid. I know they got a good back in Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison. Hawk still has to come back. Yeah, did look out for them.
I mean, that NFC North is just scary.
Look out for Tampa.
Um,
What do you think the timetable is on Love? When do you think Love's back?
I think it depends with next week. Let me just double check our schedule because I think it's LA after this. Um, no, Green Bay plays the Vikings. I mean, if
Division
we
matchup.
lose, I think and it's at home. If we lose this week, I think for sure Jordan Love will be back. But if we win this week, they might just be like, "Hey, we're 2-1. We can afford this loss right now." I don't know. Do they I don't know if they want to lose at home. I think Jordan Love either way comes back for that game. I mean, they cannot drop this game at home to the Vikings. The NFC North is just way too good this year, or it's
Yeah.
just like him coming back to Central unless they just like
I saw he was practicing today.
yeah. So I think he won't play this week and probably will be back next week.
Yeah. I like to see that. All right. Well,
Where do
thank
you,
you.
my last thing for
Oh,
you is
okay. One last thing.
where where do you think the Niners are ending up this year after week two?
I kind of already gave my opinion on him. I think it's
I don't think,
possible they end up being the wild card. Like I think it's possible they don't win the NFC West.
but you don't
I
think
mean,
playoffs? They'll still make playoffs.
yeah, they'll still make the playoffs. I mean, at the end of the day, like McCaffrey's got to come back. Usually the Niners are playing. The thing that's so frustrating about the Niners not being able to win a Super Bowl is the Niners are usually playing their best football by the end of the season, which is what you want to do. You don't want to be playing your best football right now. You want to be playing your best football by the end of the season, which the Niners usually do. So that's why I'm just kind of like, you know, not totally like concerned about that loss, but also like the NFC West is a lot more formidable than people thought this year. It's the NFC West is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean outside of LA, who's got like the most injuries in the league, I think. At least
But
have star players.
yeah,
For
but they could still come out there on any given Sunday and win a game. You know, they're not completely incompetent. They're not like Carolina.
yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously they gotta like I don't even know who Carolina's head coach is. I've seen like he's like the one dude, like the one coach I think I've never known. Like I even remember Lovie Smith was like the Texans head coach. Who even is this guy in Carolina?
Yeah, we looked up last week, I think. I think his dad was a coach or something. But
I already
yeah, I mean,
yeah, I've already forgot his name though.
I kind of just like erased the Panthers from like existence. It's just like there's no reason to even like waste a second of my time thinking about the Carolina Panthers. Dude, that team is terrible. They should like be kicked out of the league.
They just need a rebrand or just force the coach to sell it to Dan Snyder.
Yeah, I
Uh,
just it's like it's just disgusting football watching them play, dude. Like, I mean, anyone who thinks Andy Dalton's going to be any different is out of their mind. Andy Dalton's not going to have 84 passing yards. He'll be better than that. Like Kyle or uh Bryce had 84 passing yards last week, but it's crazy.
yeah, it's bad news in Carolina.
I would yeah, I'd be so bummed out if I was a Carolina fan because of just like, dude, you trade everything for this number one pick. Did he win the Heisman?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alabama.
he's a Heisman winner. Like it's just that's tough, man. But I mean,
But that's so
like,
not even the NFL. There's so many Heisman winners that just suck.
yeah, look at Mac Jones, man. Those Bama quarterbacks are not as good as everyone thinks they are. Maybe
Jalen
Nick,
Hurts is really the only good one, and he left them.
yeah, maybe Nick Saban needs a little more credit for doing what he did with them, and then these other cool coaches not being able to do. But also maybe he deserves some blame for not having them be able to translate into an NFL quarterback.
Exactly.
I think that wraps up week 2 recap and week 3 predictions. College football show this week, TBD. We might run it, we might not. We'll see
Yeah,
what the
I'm probably going to be boots on the ground in San Diego.
yeah.
So
So we
might be
probably
able
will
to.
run it. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We try to keep these a little bit shorter, so it's not like over. It's not too long. We don't want these to be too long, but appreciate y'all watching and tuning in. Leave some comments and let us know what you want to see more content. But yeah, Beaver and Benjo signing out.
Peace.